Hey everyone, guess what? It's Friday. I'm Mia Voss. You're watching the Mia Connect Power Chat. And boy, I got to tell you, I have the hottest lineup of ladies, and Google had the most gremlins I've ever seen in a green room, ever. So we're going to jump in because it's an adventure just getting all of us onto this hangout. What do y'all think? It really was. But it's going to be worth it, I promise you. I just posted on Facebook. I said, what do wine tours, food crawls, Breaking Bad, and ADA accessibility have in common? It's this girl with two thumbs right here, and all these ladies, because each one of them have an adventure that has to do with that. So I'm excited to introduce them to you. However, you know what I'm going to get to first, and that is the backpack audience, because all y'all are out there waiting. I could hear the feet tapping. I could see people looking at their watch saying, where is Mia? So here we are. I've got, hi, One Great Life out in the audience. Rolling. Let's get this bus a-rolling. Get your adventure on. Amen. Denise Wakeman, hi, sister. She is definitely an adventurous gal. She says, get your adventure on. Yes. And hi, Zara. Apparently, Mick Sharp might be pitching a tent. I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't know what that means. Okay, and I hear a little bit of echo, so if you ladies could mute yourself for right now, that would be great, because we definitely don't want to. We had echo. Last week we called it the Say What Show. Hold on. Yep, I definitely hear an echo. I'm because, hold on. Okay, guys, so let's see what else we've got. We have, hi, David Henry Pipe, food, booze, and nibbles on a hobnob and slurps. Okay, ladies, please mute yourself because I'm still hearing an echo. Could all of you just make sure to mute yourself right now? Do you know how to do that at the top?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. Until I can figure out who's got the echo. You guys remember this from last week, right? How fun that was. Okay, what else do we have? We've got Cheryl Deuce in the audience. Oh, and yes, Cheryl says we're going to miss you, Carmen. Absolutely. Sister Carmen couldn't make it with us today. Coach G out in the audience. You know what I love about Coach G is he even showed up for a fashion show last week. And he's a coach. How you like me now? Wayne is saying my mic is distorted, so how about that? Thank you, Brother Wayne. I love it when my folks pipe in. What else we got in here? Jean Allen. Lynn is saying hi to you, Jeannie. Noticed a poolside automatic chair at Solage, Napa Valley. Accessible, yes, and the stairs around the resort. So we're going to get into that too. But hi, Lynn. Thanks for coming in today as well. And let's see what else we have. And I hope everybody went and read those articles that I posted, because all of these ladies have something so fun going on. So I'm going to start with, let's see how everybody's feeling. I'm going to start with Miss Heather today, because she came in, we chatted yesterday. We were having so much fun. Talking, I was looking at all the videos and the different stuff that you do. So Heather, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to get my clapper out. Hang on one second, because I need to clap for you.
Yay! Thank you.
So we're going to go, ladies, on each of you and talk about what your adventures are, and I'd love to hear what it is that got you into that, because I think for each of you, there's something that, got you to say, I want to make this into something. So tell us about all the tastes of New York, and tell us what you do.
Absolutely. First off, I had to say a big thank you to Mia. Thank you so much for inviting me. Had an amazing time when I met you a couple of months ago, and ladies, I'm really looking forward to speaking to you guys as well. Yay. So, all the tastes of New York. For anybody that has been to New York City, it is a very overwhelming place as far as food is concerned. I mean, literally, there are millions of people here, and all the cultures that are represented here, and their food appropriately so. And so we figured, what can we do to make it a fun, interesting way that's not overwhelming, and you can get to taste the different flavors of the neighborhood, and be guided. So essentially, you would reach out to me. Typically, our tours our food crawls are a minimum of 8 people, and you say, you know what, Heather, I want to check out, like, say, the East Village or Hell's Kitchen or the Lower East Side, and I'll ask you what cuisines you'd want to try, and essentially, we'd meet at one location for appetizers. Then we'll go to another location for the entree course, and the third for dessert. And everything is 100% customizable. any dietary restrictions or allergies or whatever it is that you're looking for. We pride ourselves on customizing these events. So that's
Oh
it.
my God, that sounds so fun. I can't even take it. Because, you know, obviously from meeting myself and Chef Dennis that we love food and booze. So then you get me on a customized tour of that business, forget about it. Like, that just makes me so excited. And ladies in the panel too, feel free to pipe in if you have any questions for each of us about what we do. So tell me, what's your most popular area in New York?
I would probably say by far the Lower East Side, and then the second runner-up would be the East Village. They're very trendy, very hip, very different. A lot of my clients are corporate. I do have a lot of bachelorette parties that I do. We do a lot of bachelorette food crawls. And then I do dating events as well. So it lends itself really well to dating events.
Now, is that the large group, or is it just the couples, just one couple, and you just tour them around?
Large groups. Everything is a group. We do not, again, minimum of 8 people. So most of our groups average at around 20. That's about a good middle for corporate groups or bachelorette parties and for dating companies. And it's fun and it's interesting because unlike traditional dining, you're not sitting in the same place for 2 hours. You have to move. If you don't move, you don't eat. It's that simple. And, you know.
If you don't move, you don't eat. I love it.
And we guide you along. You know, you already saw the menu before as well. So there are no surprises. You know exactly what you're getting, but it's just, you know, changing the ambiance, the energy, the mood. And, again, we create exactly what it is that you're looking for.
I love that. Ladies in the panel, do you have any comments for Heather? Any questions? And if you're, oh yes, Diana.
Please.
Hi. Yay, it's working. That's great. You know, I had a question actually about the demographic, more kind of with regards to the age groups. What kind of, you know, what do you see more of? Do you see more women or more of a male population going for these kind of experiences?
Good question.
So my demographic is definitely over 30. We are not by any means an inexpensive experience. It really is the equivalent to having dinner at a 3-star restaurant, for example, in New York City. It is not exorbitant, but it's definitely not cheap. And I think because of that, we price ourselves over 30 for the most part. Where corporations are concerned, I would probably say we get reached out to an even keel of men and women, but if I had to lean more, it'll be on the female side, thus the bachelorette parties, which is the reason why they're so popular. But again, a lot of the corporations, I mean, we've had like insurance companies and investment bankers, we're all men, advertising agencies that were also all men. And again, they were taking out clients, and they wanted the opportunity to be able to speak to everybody easily without it being awkward and uncomfortable. And just because you have to move to go to each course, it did it naturally for them. So, yeah, it took out that prying, having to go up to the person, hi, I'm this person, you know, naturally you walk. And then you have just different elements of the neighborhood to discuss as you're moving along, and, you know, you add. So it just keeps it all really super interesting.
How fun is that? I mean, think about just going through the neighborhoods too. So you're adding in not only the restaurant, but all that fun stuff that's around it, right? So you can, you know, walk through the East Village, and then you see these different things. And, you know, I'm loving too how the West Village. I love how they have that new elevated. It's not new, but the old elevated trail.
Yes. Yes, that is pretty fabulous. I am actually doing a lot more tailored experiences as people reach out to me. And again, I really do pride myself on tailored experiences. So if there's a particular thing that you want that I don't necessarily offer, I am not opposed to tailoring it so that, you know, it meets your needs and you address exactly what it is that you're looking for.
We've got a couple of fun comments in the audience too. Denise says, "That's why I run. I run to eat, so I love. I don't move, so I don't eat." I love that. So she's into that. Wayne Nix, honey, he's so sweet. You gals are beautiful. Echo, who cares? He gets to hear us twice. So you gotta love the audience. Kim Boltman says, "Customized food crawl, dream vacation." It's what I thought when I read about when I heard about what you were doing too. So, but I'm loving, and oh, my brother Dustin's in the office. Hey. And then we have food, wine, and scooters from Adam. This could turn into one hell of an off-road adventure. Bad crap adventures. So true. Did anybody, and I'm going to go through real quick just because we're jumping in. And so we do have Diana is with Winerist. Mm-hmm. We have Jackie with Breaking Bad Tours. Hi, Jackie. And then Jeannie with Incredible Accessible. And we're going to get to each one of these ladies. Did you have any other questions or comments for Heather? Because I just think it's so fun. And I know you do, obviously, the 5 boroughs. But ladies, jump in with any other questions. Anyone? I'll tell you, I have got to get out there too. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How can we try one of these? When can we try one of these is the question.
Exactly. I know, that's what I want to get out there. Now, here's another question I have. Now, do you coach people, Heather, to wear comfortable clothing and shoes and just like get them all kind of ready for their adventure?
I absolutely make it a point to keep things very, very close by because, how should I put this without stereotyping women, but at a dating event, you're not wearing flat, comfortable shoes. Let's just put it that way.
No, you're wearing your, yeah.
You understand. Whenever I do maximum 5 blocks, that's the absolute maximum. So you can trot along in your pretty high heels and not have to worry about twisting an ankle. Just walk carefully. But yes, it's not an exhausting experience. It's an interesting experience, but not an exhausting one.
Now, and I do love that. I remember from my days of living in New York of the, with the commuter shoes.
Depends, but no commuter shoes typically.
No, I remember if you need to get away fast, you know what I mean. You want to be able to run from a mugger if you need to. So. That is awesome. And then obviously, so if people want to get and set one up, now do they go to all the Taste of New York, and then that's how they get set up. And then do they choose groups, or do you have people that come in and say, hey, it's just me and my girlfriend, and we want to join in with 8 other people, and then you just lump them all together?
No, right now it is set up that they're all private. We did do that initially, and frankly, we realized we just couldn't get enough people on the same page at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really just couldn't. We tried, it didn't work out. But during like the holiday seasons, we do have events that you can just join. But on the day-to-day basis, no. You need 6 other friends or 7 other friends.
Okay, gotcha. And I bet everybody can do that pretty quickly. And I saw that it's really going across the nation, because the link that I posted was on Fox, and that was not only you, but that was Seattle as well. So I like that idea. And then one other quick question: was it hard to get the restaurants interested in it? That's always kind of, I wasn't sure if that was kind of a tough sell for them.
Well, it depends. There are different restaurateurs that think very, very differently. There are those that think that the evening that I'm going to show up with my 20 guests is going to be the evening that they're going to be sold out, and now they're going to lose money because we're coming in for one course. And then there are the others who think along the lines of, well, I know that I have these 20 people here, and if we get additional reservations, great. The latter are the ones that I prefer to work with, because
right.
I would rather my guests not feel that, you're inconveniencing, the potential other people that could be here. So for those guys that get it, they get it. It really is just that simple. And rarely do I try to push a square peg into a round hole. If you don't see the value of it, I would rather not bring people in there, because essentially they will feel that energy as though, you're really not welcome here. I wouldn't want that from my guests at all. So,
wondering if somebody spit in your food.
Not so much. Leave. So we could get somebody that's going to eat 3 courses. So, no. The people that we work with, we've had long-standing relationships with, and really just great fun times with. So we like to repeat business and really support those restaurants.
I think that's the theme for everybody that we're going to talk to today, of like, you are wanting to introduce people to adventures that they're truly going to enjoy, feel welcome that they're at, right? And then feel safe that that they have somebody that's prepped and figured out exactly the right fun thing to do.
Exactly.
All right, so Heather, thank you so much. I can't wait to get out there.
Pleasure.
And my eating tour with my stretchy pants. That's how it's going to go. For sure. I'm going to love it. Okay, next I'm going to move on to Ms. Jackie, because I have a feeling she's probably got a line of people that are waiting outside of the trailer that want to go on her on her Breaking Bad tour. And Jackie, I think you might still be muted, so if you can unmute yourself, and that's going to be up at the top, kind of where it was before. Yeah. And so just to give you guys an idea, Jackie is, let me see, yeah, you are muted. So just click on the little mute microphone at the top, and then we'll be able to hear you. And we might, yay, there she is. Yay!
Yeah,
welcome.
Yay.
Let me clap for you because I love to do that. Because you deserve it. So listen, I have a friend, and I believe my friend Allie that's here in Denver did the tour. She is a nutbag for Breaking Bad, and I just thought it was such an interesting idea that you and your husband were actors on the show, right? You were like part-time or like small bit actors, and decided to really pop up Albuquerque and do this tour.
Correct. Yeah. My husband actually is the one that is the mastermind behind it all.
That's awesome.
He actually came up with the idea, hey, we should tour in the actual RV, and I mean, it's a replica, obviously, but he came up with that idea, and then a bunch of us got together and we're like, hey, let's put this together and let's see, how it goes. And he actually got the idea, believe it or not, from Georgia, where there's a guy that's driving an RV from Walking Dead. And so he actually got that idea because he Googled him. And, yeah.
Like Dale's RV from The Walking Dead? That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's from like the first or second season that they had the original RV there. And so this guy's actually out there doing tours as well. And we're like, hey, this would be awesome for Albuquerque, since, we have like a Breaking Bad economy here as it is. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, we had a Breaking Bad bill here not too long ago, and with that, I mean, it was 2 years ago that they came up with that, so now there's a Breaking Bad economy here, believe it or not. It's brought in almost 30 films, productions here in Albuquerque, so the film industry is just getting huge. This is like the new Hollywood, I guess, as you could say. So
too funny.
Yeah, so people are just going nuts. I mean, we're filled on every tour that we have, and before we could fit 9 to 10 people, now we can actually fit up to 13 or 14, depending on weight and average of people. Just depends. But usually we get about 13 people, and we've been packed on every tour. And people are banging on our door, and they want to do like a second tour. Well, we can't do that right now, so we just limited to 1 tour a day.
I think that is so clever. I love it. Now, were you guys? Of course, you look at this question. You knew it was coming. The Breaking Bad candy, blue candy. They want to know if you guys are offering that
right.
too.
Oh,
for those of you who watch the show, you'll know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we give a free little baggie to all of our customer passengers that ride with us. And I do tell them it is cotton candy, not the real thing, okay?
That was
I tell them to be selling this on the corner. I have to joke and that's them.
That is hilarious.
And we also tell them be careful when you get on, with you. If you have it on your person on the flight, they may compensate it and think that it really is, meth. So we tell them, you need to be very careful. I would check it in with you, even though there's actually some people who have had it confiscated, believe it or not.
Oh my goodness.
Because,
that is
it's Little Rock, funny. You don't know.
What? Right. Yeah, you think it's all fun and giggles.
They have to taste it for themselves to find out. I don't know.
Here's a good question, which Kevin Burns, I'm not sure if he missed what you were saying, but he wanted to know, why is Albuquerque the new Hollywood? What's the driver? So is it because people are wanting to, they're loving that desert feel, or you think Hollywood's kind of going back to that? Cheryl is saying Hollywood Southwest. Can you hear me, Jackie? The question was, why is there a driver?
I think it has a lot to do with the tax break, too. Because,
interesting.
Yeah, you kind of broke up a little bit, but I did hear it. But yeah, it's because of the tactic. Actually, here what we offer, and we also hire, you know, a lot of people from the actual states that worked on Breaking Bad, like the laundromat. They actually hired people who work there. So there's a huge economy here for this, and yeah, I think that has to do with the desert scheme as well. They're looking for that. There's I don't know, there's just ample opportunity here for the film industry. We have 3 studios here, believe it or not. There's Albuquerque, is located behind the airport, kind of in that general vicinity. And we also have I-25 studios. And we have the largest sound production company here, and actually in America, is what they're saying. So we have better sound system as well. And then there's Santa Fe Studios. So there's 3 different studios here that they can utilize for production.
See, I think that's so fun too, Jackie, that it's like you don't, these really arcane locations you don't realize have got this bustling economy thing going on. I love it that it's actually a tax thing that they, you know, they wanted to support, you know, because I'm sure you guys were really hard hit with the downturn, right? In Albuquerque?
Yeah,
oh, I bet.
Definitely. Yeah, but I mean, this is just incredible. You cannot believe what's happening in the movie. We've had Transcendence filmed there, The Messengers, Outlaw Prophet. There's just so many different film companies coming here. And like Better Call Saul right now, they're actually filming for, which is the prequel to Breaking Bad. So we're excited for that. That's actually going to be 80% dark and 20% humor. People think it would be more comedy there, but not going to have that same drama feel as Breaking Bad. So it's awesome, and we'll be adding some of those Better Call Saul locations once that airs after January. We'll be tying that in as well to our tour.
Just the title makes me laugh, definitely. Ladies, I don't know if you're Breaking Bad fans here on the panel, but if you have any questions for Jackie on that too, please pipe into it, because it is so fun to see. My question would be, what were you guys doing before you started this? You and your hubby. Can you hear me, Jackie? I think she might be.
Actually, my husband was laid off with Hewlett Packard. Yeah, my husband was laid off with. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My husband was laid off with Hewlett Packard actually years ago. So we started our own business. We own a restoration company, so it's called Premier. Okay, it's called Premier Carpet and Restoration Services. So we actually own that business as well. So we do both of them, and we do acting as well. So we're pretty busy people, kind of crazy busy, but it's all fun. And we are sponsored by New Mexico Films. So we do a lot of events with the film industry here. We set up the Breaking Bad, and we do like short tours, and we have people come in and tour the Breaking Bad RV. They get really excited over that. And so we do that, and then we do the Summer Fest that's actually here too, and set up the Breaking Bad RV outside, and there's so many people that pile on. I mean, we had like over 100 people line up, and they all try to get in there at once, so we have to kind of do crowd control. So we have to send in only like maybe 5 to 7 people at a time because it gets pretty overcrowded. Also, they're going to be having a, let's see, a ghost tour that's going to be coming up in October. So the whole month of October, we're joining with historical ghost tours that they're located in Old Town as well, and we're hooked up with them, and we're going to be doing haunted sites as well, like Jane's apartment where she ended up dying, and that's like an hour-and-a-half tour that we'll be doing. And then we actually have a Breaking Bad Fest coming here, which is November 7th and 8th, and do have, believe it or not. So we're going to have one side of the convention center. People can go in and tour. So we'll be taking donations to them to come in to tour that. And then we'll also be doing 1.5-hour tours just at about 9 film locations in downtown area.
Cool.
So we'll be doing that as well. So we have both of the RVs that.
But it sounds like you definitely have the audience is just chomping at the bit to come and see that and do the different stuff. Like I said, my girlfriend that's here, they were nuts for it. So I absolutely love it. I had somebody who wanted to know. My friend Lynn says she saw a car commercial filmed at Black Rock City where Burning Man is held. So she's loving the desert scenes. And then somebody wanted to know who's actually. So you're actually getting people in and then driving them around in the RV, right?
Correct. Right. Correct.
That's
for
so fun.
3.5 hours. It's a 3.5-hour tour, and we go to over 20 locations, actually.
How fun!
Some locations.
You know, it was a good reminder when I was doing research on this and then reading the article that I posted was that I forgot about that it was on FX, and then FX foolishly canceled it, and then Netflix picks it up. I mean, Netflix is just the it for me because I get to watch all these different things and I'm loving, and I forgot that they picked it up, and that's how a lot of people got to see it again. So smart move on their part.
Right.
I love it.
Oh yeah, and I mean it is a huge UK. The UK right now it is blowing up. I mean just nationwide. People are coming from all over. We got people from Austria, Australia, Rome, Spain, Puerto Rico. There's so many people. This is just Costa Rica. It's incredible.
And I think that's because of Netflix.
That we're getting.
If they would have kept it on FX, these people wouldn't have seen it. And in fact, the article that I posted was actually from.
Cut out.
I said I think it's because if they kept it on FX, you know, if it's on Netflix now, it's kind of across the world. So that's where you're getting all these people. I just love how exciting it is that.
I hear you for some reason.
Can everybody else hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, I think it might be your connection, Jackie, but I was just going to tell the audience.
I can't hear your voice anymore.
Okay, well, okay, I think we might have to drop out, though, but I think it is exciting that she's getting all these different people coming, don't you ladies think, that they're getting all this business?
Yes.
Yeah, I think what you said about Netflix is actually spot on. You know, that was such a nice marketing trick on their part. So
I think your volume went.
Okay, Jackie, we're going to have you jump out, sweetie, because I think you can't hear us anymore. So we're going to have you jump out. Uh-oh. That's what you get when we're broadcasting from an RV, right, ladies? I've done a show from a car before too, and we couldn't hear anybody. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and mute her, you guys. Thank you, Diana. That's a great point, though. You're right of it being from that it's going across the world now, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Say that again. Can you ladies hear me? Last week it was.
I can hear you just fine, but I think there's a delay with everybody else. So.
I think so too. So, have you watched the show, Diana? I'm going to ask you that since you're in England.
Yes, I have. We do use Netflix a lot here as well, so we're very fortunate. But as you probably know, everybody went completely crazy for it not very long ago, and all of a sudden everybody was talking about it. So it was impossible to not watch it. Yes, I have. Yeah.
I think what's tough about it, not tough, but interesting, is that it's just this kind of, this sort of this really lower realm of the world's picture of the U.S. So I'm sure people in other countries are like, is that what it's really like over there?
I don't think so, but sorry, Heather.
No, it's fine. No, I saw it on Netflix as well, and we were really late to the game on this.
Me too.
And because Netflix had it, I think there were 42 episodes before they started to air the final set. We looked at it in 3 weeks. It was a commitment every night from 7 p.m. to about 1 a.m. for 3 weeks consistently. But
once you start watching, right, you can't stop because it's right there, and then you're like, I'm just going to watch one more, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to watch 15 hours. And you have to go to rehab for it, too. I love it. Hey, ladies, I'm going to jump over to our next...
Watching it, too.
Did you really? Yeah, watching it. Well, that's how I was with Breaking Bad, although I think I told you, your husband yesterday, I haven't made it all the way through Breaking Bad, but that's how I was. Well, when Orange is the New Black came out, forget it. I watched the entire first season. Have you ladies watched that at all, the Orange is the New Black?
I've got it on order.
Oh, it's good. It is good stuff.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's so unusual. What I'm loving about it is the fact that that for women you've got every race, color, creed, gender. You've got the guy, and they've all been nominated for Emmys, which is pretty exciting too. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I have seen.
Which is just very exciting. So listen, I'm going to jump over to Miss Jeannie real quick. We are going to keep mixing it up because we've got every different thing you can imagine. So Jeannie was introduced to me this week through our girl, Lynn Abate Johnson. I have really been thinking about, I watched Sarah Hill talk the other day about veterans, and it's been something I've really been interested in, of course, being in construction with ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act, and accessibility. And then all of a sudden I hear about Jeannie and what she's doing, and I lost my mind because you are doing the best stuff ever. I'm going to clap for you. So I'm just going to let you tell everybody it's incredible, accessible, and you've got such an amazing story, and you're doing really, really cool stuff. So tell us about you and what you're doing.
Okay, so you can hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, ma'am.
Well, how I got started, I have MS, and I've had MS for almost 30 years, and my mobility issues started about 15 years ago. And once the mobility issues kicked in, it really became a different story for me. I initially was using a cane, and then a walker, and then a scooter. And once I started using a scooter, we went to Chicago a few years ago, and it was the first time that I was going to be on a scooter in a new city that I didn't know about, and my husband was going to be at a conference, and I was going to be in Chicago by myself trying to have a good time, and I didn't want to have surprises. So I did a lot of research on the internet, and I found out that there's just not that much information out there about if you're going to a place that you haven't been before, finding out what's accessible, the tricks of getting around in the city. And so I did a lot of research, and by the time we got there, I had it all figured out. I was on my own for a couple of days, and I did not have any bad surprises. I didn't get myself in trouble. And and at the end of the week, I had this itinerary that's like, wow, I need to share this with somebody. Like, I put a lot of work into this. Does anybody want this accessible itinerary? But of course,
right,
to give to anybody. So every trip that we took thereafter, it was the same thing. I did a lot of research, found out that there's not a lot of information that's all pulled together on the internet, and I would have these itineraries. And finally, I decided that it's time to share. So the past few months, I've really been working on this to figure out how I want to share. And what I'm doing right now is I'm focusing on my own hometown, which is Sonoma, California.
Right.
And I live in Sonoma, a wonderful place to come, wine country, and Napa's right here. So between Napa and Sonoma, I am creating the accessible guide to Sonoma Napa wine country. And I'm going to the restaurants and the wineries and the hotels and the shops and all of the places of interest, and finding out what the accessibility looks like, taking photographs. One of the things that when you read about something that is accessible, that word accessible is such a general term, and it doesn't work for everybody. So just to read that something's accessible doesn't mean that I can do it, or that it's not a challenge, or that there won't be surprises. So I'm going to these places, and I'm actually taking photographs of the bathrooms, of the parking, of how you get into the place. What's it like once you get in? Is there space to move around? And putting it all on the website so that other people can look at it and say, yeah, I can do that, or I can't. But
I love what you said in here. You said people tend to think accessible things make things ugly, and travel agencies don't think it's sexy. I think that is so spot on. By the way, I'm honestly shocked, but yet not, because it just seems like it would be so easy to get all this information together. Or if you had a place, just say, here's exactly what it looks like. But as you discovered, that's not the case, right?
Well, so what I'm finding is places. I mentioned to you yesterday when I was talking with you that places that are accessible aren't including it in their website. They're not using it as a marketing tool.
Right.
So across the country, we've spent millions of dollars making things ADA accessible,
Mm-hmm.
and then nobody tells the public that they've done it.
Sure.
And when I've asked people about that, they say, well, I didn't think about it. It's just I made, we did the ADA upgrades, and that was it. I didn't think that I had to tell anybody about it. But there's some places that aren't accessible, or that their accessibility is maybe not as good as it should be, so that the business is accessible. It's just in their best interest to market it and let us know, the people who want to use it, that it is accessible, and how it's accessible.
And how, that's right. So there's different varying degrees to it, I saw. And if you guys get a chance, I posted this earlier today, this Sonoma Index article that they are story that they did on you. You really touch on a lot of points. You touch on the fact of, the increasing number of baby boomers, and just because there's an increasing number doesn't mean that that number hasn't risen, that there's a lot of people that are going to have, the disabilities are also rising. So people need to start paying attention from a business perspective.
Absolutely. And the disabilities is a tricky word, because people don't like to admit that we have disabilities. And I've had my disability for a long time, and it takes a while to embrace it, or even, maybe you don't even call it a disability. People have trouble walking. They want to find the park bench to sit down on, because get a little tired. Don't even have to have a disability. But in terms of the baby boomers, it's going to be this inclusive tourism. We really are on the front end of inclusive tourism being a big business. The baby boomers, as we know, are aging. I tried to find some numbers here. So the McKinsey reports that it will be 25% of the travel market by 2020. 25% of the travel market are going to be looking for places that have ramps and bars and elevators. And the travel industry really isn't paying attention to that.
Crazy. Can I tell you a quick story? I was telling you yesterday about my friend Stuart. Hey, Stuart, Marcy. And I didn't tell you the story, but we actually had it. We had went to a new restaurant here in Denver, and it was in the basement. Or we went down to the basement, so we took the elevator down. Well, the elevator is part of this office building. So we come up a couple drinks later, right, and wanting to catch the elevator and go home. It's 9 or 10 o'clock, and guess what? They've shut the elevator down for the office for the day, and just expected that we could all get out. So it's awesome pictures of us with the firemen, because they had to call the fire department and come in and turn the key, because that's the key for it. Nobody even thought about it. It was a fairly new restaurant, but and it was, we really did get a kick out of it, and of course took advantage of taking pictures with the firemen, and made it into an adventure. But honestly,
my question actually, how hot were the firemen?
The boyfriend was there, and he's hotter than all of them. So I will say we all love firemen. So I did. I actually changed it to my profile picture of me bossing the firemen around with a drink in my hand. See, it was quite entertaining. But, I know we all ask how hot were the firemen. It's not a common one, but exactly. But I will say there was a little bit of, with the underlying humor to it, of that panic of like, what if this had been an emergency? I mean, he's got the the chair too, where we would not have been able to get him out of there. So it was a sobering moment, even with drinks in hand.
Right.
We did a show a couple weeks ago on design, and talked a lot about baby boomers and that, and brought up that subject as well, as like this huge population. And now you're bringing in that's 20%. That's a huge number for people that are going to start traveling. But I'm loving it that you're getting people aware of it, so that they don't get that kind of big bitch slap of surprise and go like, I can't get anywhere, right?
Right. Well, hotels.
Say that again.
And accessible rooms in hotels. It's a very minimal part of the numbers. If you're building a new hotel, you don't have to put in that many rooms with accessible rooms. And I think the travel industry is going to be surprised in a few years when they've got a lot more people asking for accessible rooms than they have accessible rooms available.
And it is just with construction, there's, generally what they'll do is they'll say we have to, there's a standard number of rooms that are ADA accessible, either that they're set up so that they could be modified, so they have blocking behind the walls so that you could put in, the grab bars and so forth. Right. But, and I even look at that, with doing the work that I do, I'll walk in and say, how am I going to reach that? Like I even think in terms of not having, not that you can't get it to it, but like if your hands are weakened, let's say if you've got some kind of arthritis or something like that, that you need to have these things that they're easy to open and easy to operate. And I usually get the construction guys to yell at me because they're like, "You're wimpy." I'm like, "No, I'm thinking in terms for everybody." Well,
that's why they call it inclusive.
Exactly. I love that. Yay. Now y'all got your learn on that one too. So I love that. And then Jackie, we're going to have everybody make sure to comment and ask her questions too. So I am going to switch real quick over to Diana, because I think, Diana, you had the same kind of thing too, the situation where you were, this is Diana with Winerist, by the way, where you were kind of like, why is there no information out there? So you were the same as Jeannie of, boy, there doesn't seem to be a place to go to find the information that you need.
Yeah, that's right. What happened was really interesting. I went on a trip with some of my friends, and we did the tour. What we did is we drove from London to Paris, then to Champagne, then to Burgundy, then into the Rhone Valley, Provence, and Tuscany. And we did all of that, and what we did prior to the trip is try to do some research, and we found that it was really difficult to find a website which would tell you information that you need about your destination of choice, about the restaurants that you can go to, about the hotels that you can stay at, and more importantly about the wineries that you can visit. And obviously you can do a search on Google, but the wineries don't tell you whether they are open or whether it's possible to do a wine tasting when you're there. So what I did when I came back to London, I sat down and I did some research to see whether there is anyone in the market who does this. And what I found is that there is no online, so there is no online travel agency that brings in the world of wine and food travel players into one place to any destination around the world, and gives customers or wine and food lovers information about your destination, so for example about Tuscany, and then tells you where to book, so where to stay, where to eat, what winery to visit, and obviously what wine tour or food tour to do. So what we've done is we've started with this curated approach where we created travel guides for every single destination, and we started with the primary wine regions, and then we added them one by one. At the moment we've got 65 in total, and more recently we've started adding so-called wine capitals or wine cities, so London, Paris, Barcelona, Madrid, San Francisco, New York actually had that's why I was really curious about what you were doing, because that's exactly in line with what we do. And as you probably know, wine and food walking tours, they're probably amongst the most popular activities out there. So that's kind of how Winerist was born.
I think I need to get Jeannie out there doing the wine tours with you, and then you guys can combine, and she'll give you the accessibility, and then you've got the 411 on the wine, and that sounds like a perfect combo. Actually, I'm thinking what we just need to do is just hit like Albuquerque, New York, and then we're going to get out to Sonoma, and then we're going to go wherever you tell us to go, Diana. So. You also have the not-for-profit that you created as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so twowater.org is a not-for-profit organization, and our motto is turning wine into water. So what we do is we organize wine tasting events, and we raise proceeds to build water projects in the developing world. So we'll do wine tastings corporate, or we'll do wine tastings for groups of friends at home or in a wine bar. And we put together wine lovers and food lovers, and because we're the organizers or the co-founders of the charity, we all do it on a voluntary basis. 100% of the proceeds goes to the charity because the wine is donated, the venue is donated. So it's a really nice thing to do on the side. Plus, working in the wine industry, it's a really nice opportunity for me to reach out to vineyards and say, oh, look, guys, there's a great opportunity for you to get some exposure. All I need from you is one bottle of wine, because that's usually how much you need to do a tasting for, let's say, 20 people. And then
Wait a
it's
second.
great exposure.
Not in my world.
No. One mini tasting. One mini tasting. It's not enough to get locked in an elevator. No,
Yes.
you'll need about 20 of those. But
That's
no,
right.
so what we then do is we kind of get together the winemakers and the venues that want to get a little bit of corporate social responsibility in place, and then obviously everybody's responsible for drinking afterwards. So that's when they can choose their beverage of choice for after party. But tastings are usually really affordable. They will be the equivalent of $30 for 6-7 wine tasting.
How fun.
And it's nice, and it's also better when you know that it goes to a good cause. But what we found, generally, not just in London, and we are a London-based company, but at the moment 50% of our traffic comes from the US, and our consumers primarily come from the US, and that's very natural because obviously the US wine and food travel market is huge. And a lot more people in the US love wine and food travel than they do in Europe, and you're also a lot better educated and aware of it than people are in Europe. And also in Europe, what do you find, the reason why we also decided to do this is because for a very long time these experiences were so pricey, and what used to happen is they were so commercial. So you'd get placed on a bus, you'd go to a vineyard, which is very commercial, you'd get a wine tasting, you'd get ripped off. It was really expensive. What we are doing with Winerist is you can choose from experiences that are very authentic. You can have lunch with a winemaker. You can have a private wine tasting at the vineyard. The wineries are amongst the best. They are very boutique. The food tours are extremely unique. You get to cook with a local mom, for example, and it doesn't cost you much. So what we've done is we've pretty much taken out the competition in the sense that we've become very competitive on price, and we said, look, this is what we need to do. We need to keep prices fair, and we need to make wine and food travel affordable to all age groups and all kind of income brackets. So if you go to the website, you'll see that there are tours for £30 and also €30, and there are tours which are, €200.
How fun, because I think then you're really bringing community together.
Exactly.
You're like you said, they're going to get these different experiences, and I think a lot of us have probably been through that. If you've been on any of these kind of canned vacations, that you do get, that sort of cattle call, go through the wine tour, and you have no way of knowing if they're not just pouring like Gallo wine into a bottle in the back and serving it to you. I'd still drink it, but I love that. I think it's fun to see that you've come up with all these different ideas. Was it hard to get people on board? Just like the question I was asking Heather before, same thing. Was it hard to kind of get people on board, or were they just excited to see this avenue, this you putting together this whole package, and now they have to do is step into it?
I think what is the hardest part is to educate customers in terms of understanding that they don't have to get a package made for them, that they can browse the website and find the package for them with a price range that is right for them, and then book it online rather than have the traditional agency communication where you go back and forth until you find your ideal case scenario. So what we've tried to do is on the website there are options which fit in with pretty much any kind of client expectation. So when you go to Tuscany, there are tours which will appeal probably to a person who puts in an inquiry for a package and a person who puts in an inquiry for a different package. So we are trying to build an online business in the sense that it is a package, but you don't have to waste time. You don't have to go back and forth. You can book it easily online.
Right.
It's all reviewed. It's tried and tested. There are customer experiences and reviews on there. So the aim is to make you happy with once you've come on the landing page and take you straight to the booking process.
And that is winerist.com, correct?
Yes, that's winerist.com.
Okay,
yeah.
And then real quick, Lynn just asked what the name of the wine to water. What is that called as well?
That's 2 as in numerical 2, water as in drinking water .org.
Love it. I'm going to put it in there right now too. I love that. What a clever little take on it. You know, the whole like water to wine kind of thing. You flipped it around too. So I love this. So as you guys can see, this is why all this came together. Jeannie came in. I just found out about Jeannie the other day at the last minute, but I was just like, we got to get some adventure going on here. So you can see everybody's doing something fun. So we're going to wrap up here. But what I want to do, and I have not told my panel that this is the question I'm going to ask them, because you guys know it's the what's on section of the show. And sometimes I'll say, did you make sure you had pants on, Heather? Because you thought I was going to say what's on the bottom?
No, but I did have one question for Jeannie before she left, and Diana as well. But
yes, please. Yes, let's get any last comments to each other.
Please. That is important. Which cities have you done so far, and is New York on the list?
I can take that. I can answer that. We have only just our first cities in the U.S. have been Miami and San Francisco. LA and New York are actually next. So we are speaking with some experts locally, and obviously New York is one of the greatest food capitals of the world. To us, it's all about finding the right partners and making sure that we stay competitive on price, because we don't add our margins on top of the price granted by the tour provider.
Yes,
excellent.
Literally, just yesterday, I have been wanting to combine, because I call the business all the Taste of New York, so it'll be all-encompassing, food and wine included. And finally, yesterday, I was able to connect with a tour company, a bus company, I should say, because I've been wanting to do a vineyard tour that included food. Finally, I was able to get that executed yesterday, because a lot of the times, just the cost and transportation can literally double your price. And it made it really prohibitive. And so I ironed that out. We could talk about that offline, Diana, absolutely.
No, I'd love to.
Yeah, because I have relationships with many of the vineyards, so we can work on that. But Jeannie, my question to you, have you looked into New York? Because with a lot of the very old infrastructure that we have,
right,
and the compliance has been very challenging, especially in the warmer months. Aside from doing the food crawls, I also do singular events, and I've been requested to do rooftops. And you would be amazed at how many rooftops you can only access to a certain point of the elevator, and the rest you have to go up to using the stairs. Is New York on your list by any chance?
So New York, when I get done with Sonoma Napa, I want to open it up to user-generated worldwide, so that everybody, wherever they are in the world, can make contributions to the website and say, I was in New York, I was in Paris, I was in Rome, and here are some great accessible things that I was able to do. So I don't have New York targeted per se, but I have found that there are some other websites being started now in accessible travel, and there's one that is focused on New York, and it's called Access AX. I've got to figure this out. What he's doing is going around and he's mapping. He's asking people to help him map all of the places in New York City that are accessible. And he happens to have MS, like I have MS, and he's in a wheelchair. And it's AXS.com.
Excellent.
And yeah, check it out. And he is focusing on New York City.
Awesome. Because, I mean, we get like 33 million visitors to New York City a year. So I'm sure this is coming up quite a lot. So thank you for that.
Yes.
And I think too that's isolating when people go through that. Unfortunately, that if they don't want to say, who are they going to talk to say I couldn't get around, they just kind of suffer silently. So it sounds like you're starting a trend, which is fantastic. So, and we just lost Jackie, unfortunately, but we're going to wrap it up real quick. Great questions, by the way. I love that. So, two things I want to know. Usually I do what's on, so I want to know what's on your bucket list and what you're back crap crazy about. So each of you just go through real quick for me, since you guys are things that are on people's bucket list. So tell me what's on your bucket list. What do you want to mark off, and then what you're back crap crazy about. And back crap crazy can be anything: person, place, or thing, dog, cat, wine, blue candy, anything.
I want to do I want to do some incredible accessible things around the world. And I'm finding as I do some internet research that there are some incredible things. There are, in South Africa, you can take a safari that is all accessible. In Greece, you can go to the top of the Parthenon on a lift if you give them 48 hours notice.
Wow.
In Sonoma, California, in our county, not in our city, but in the county, in the city of Windsor, there is it is the first accessible hot air balloon ride in the United States, where instead of having to crawl over the basket to get in and having to stand for an hour while you're in the air, it's a door. You roll in a wheelchair, they lock you down, and there's plexiglass that you can look out the hot flying. So I want to find all of these accessible, incredible things around the world, things that you didn't think would be accessible, that I get to do anyway, that I get to take a safari, that I get to take a hot air balloon ride.
I love it.
To find them all, to find the incredible ones.
I almost feel like the bucket list can be your back crab crazy too. So, because it's like, can you imagine if you got to do that? Do you have one thing you're back crab crazy about?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I love being in the sky. I love helicopters. I love hot air balloons. I want to zip line. I want to find a zip line that's accessible.
Okay, everybody out there, this is how we GSD. We get stuff done as we put stuff out to the universe. We put it out on YouTube, and somebody's going to know something about something for that. So I love it. So Jeannie Allen, thank you so much. Everybody go to incredible.accessible.com and go break off a piece of that, because it just is so much fun. And make sure to read that article too. All right, Heather, what's a bucket list item, and what are you back crab crazy about?
So obviously I'm in this business because I happen to love food and wine, but I'm also a mega lover of cocktails. Actually, for a wedding that I'm doing, I created a bride and groom's cocktail, and I'm like, you know what? It was so original. I don't even know where I pulled these items out of, but I managed to get them somewhere. And my bucket list is really to be able to create a cocktail book, all with original recipes that are, unique to me in some way, shape, or form. So yes,
it's a story.
I love that.
Storybook cocktail book.
I hope you'll keep everybody else that reads it happy too.
I love that. And what are you back crab crazy about?
Definitely about that food and wine experience that I put together yesterday. It really was 2 years in the making.
Excellent.
2 years. It's finally yesterday. So I am beyond thrilled about that. It's going to be on my website soon. Now I have to share that with the world. And Diana.
Yes, I love it.
With you for sure.
I can't wait to get out there too. And we need to go to allthetasteofnewyork.com. Is that right?
Absolutely. That's fun.
Listen, and some of these ladies are kind of new to the plus, so I want to see some circle love going on for everybody here, so please get some circle going. And finally, we have Miss Diana. What's on your bucket list? Because you are a bucket list item, your business, and then what are you back crab crazy about?
On my list at the moment is to get to grow Winerist, actually, I think, to the largest marketplace for wine and food lovers. And what I mean by that, the most authentic, most off-the-beaten-track experiences. And also to try, I've been hearing about truffle hunting so much now. That's definitely on my list. Truffles and dogs are probably two of my favorite things, so I would love to do a truffle hunting experience in the next couple of months. That's more on a micro scale. What am I crazy about? I'm actually crazy about travel, but really experiential travel. So I have never been on a so-called beach holiday. I probably should try it, but I really love experience-filled holidays. So one of the things that I really enjoy doing is history, wine, and food-filled experiences. I really love those. That and Shiba Inus, which is a breed of a dog, which is extremely cute. It looks a bit like a husky, but a smaller version. So that's what I'm crazy about.
Oh, how fun. They've got that fun little curly tail at the end of it. I love it. And then we need to go to winerist.com and towater.org, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yay, thank you. Oh, I'm back crap crazy for all the adventures of these ladies. I can't even take it. And then also Breaking Bad Tours. I'm going to post their link as well. I'm so excited how excited she is, how well their business is doing, and how they're just people are having so much fun with it. So listen, that's it, adventure. My call to action is go to themiaconnect.com and subscribe, because I do videos with Bob Voss. Speaking of which, Tom Collins just let me know that today's World Cat Day. Who knew? Bob Voss appreciates it. That's my three-legged cancer cat, for those of you who don't know who Bob Voss is. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching the Mia Connect Power Chat. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.